Thanks, Rachel. The Independent Electoral Commission launched the voter registration weekend drive across the country. In the afternoon, Deputy Chief Electoral Officer at the IEC, Masego Shiburi, gave an update on voting station turnout and said that 90% of voting stations were up and running by 8 a.m. The IEC has also noted that of the 68,718 electoral officers assigned to stations, the majority reported for duty and only in some isolated cases had to be replaced. Let's look at some outcomes from yesterday and what we can expect on day 2 with IEC Commissioner Janet Love. A very good morning to you. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Thank you. Good morning to you and the viewers.
You've essentially set out a target going into this weekend registration drive. You want to ensure that 1 million citizens are registered by the end of the weekend. As you track the numbers trickling in and assessing the general atmosphere, do you think that it was a realistic target? Is it achievable?
Look, I think that when we said we would love 1 million new and particularly young voters to register, it was something really that was more motivational in terms of what our target was to ensure that we were able to have a footprint that really equalized things for everybody in this country, because many people are not yet comfortable with the IT virtual platforms to engage with us, and also many people don't want to use their data for that purposes. And what we've seen is that over 1 million citizens thought that it was really important to be able to go physically to a voting station, to go and check their details, and in a number of cases not just new registrations, but also to change their details to another voting station if they've moved. So for us, I think that's our first prize. The second prize, I think, is the fact that it has really heightened awareness, and we certainly hope that amongst the people who have done these things, it is young people, some of them who have never registered before. We hope that they will still come in their numbers today. But I think that we can really, as a nation, feel proud that people are this committed to the democracy.
You speak about young people and first-time voters. I mean, the service delivery has played quite a big factor when it comes to looking at how many people are going to come out to registration. Some elderly members that we've spoken to, our reporters on the ground, are eager. They're out and going to ensure that they are part of this voter registration weekend because they want to see change. But the young people, looking at young people in the south, in Eldorado Park, in Protea Glen, our reporters on the ground interacting and speaking to them, even as far as the Eastern Cape, are feeling disillusioned, saying that they are not going to get the change that they want to see because they feel that service delivery, the unemployment rate, all sorts of factors hinder on them quite heavily. Graduates saying, I'm a graduate, I have no work, I cannot find work, so why should I bother? What would you say to that?
I think many young people are missing the point of what an election is all about. An election is about numbers, and it's about not who you know, but how many you are in order to make a decision about what kind of future you want. And so it's vital for those people who are disillusioned, who want to take the future into their own hands, to actually say, we are the numbers, we are the people who matter. But we can only make our voices heard if we register. We can then decide how we vote, what we do next year when we know the election date. But it's got to enable us to have that choice. And to do that, we need to register in numbers so that those numbers will matter to any politician, independent candidate, political party, whoever, who wants to have a position, because they will know they have to come to us, not just once, but many times, because we have the numbers, we have the organization. And that's really what I would say to young people. That's why we are saying, when we talk about this democracy, it's a democracy that people really need to own in that particular way.
What about distinguishing? I mean, it's a very thin line, the right to vote, political action, political party choices, and how young people should be viewing the two, because I mean, you sort of touch on it, that they are separate issues because one is empowering.
I think if we really live up to the idea that what matters is the people, then the people have to come forward in a way that the fact that they matter can be felt. And it's only when, political parties monitor very closely for their election campaigns. They monitor each municipality, each ward, what numbers are registered in that particular area. They do it because that's how they want to target their campaigns as part of the issue. If there are a lot of people in an area, but very few registrations, it's not going to have the kind of attention that those people deserve. And you can say, well, that's not right. But in reality, that is how we have to understand. If people want to be felt, if they want their influence to be heard, it's really important for them to actually stand up and say, we're here, and part of doing that is to register. As you track the numbers, you spoke quite a bit about online registration and the reasons why some people would prefer to rather walk in and interact with the various stations. What option is there, though, for those who may find themselves being, set back by the service delivery issues? I mean, we saw it in Protea Glen. Some people, the voting stations opened at different times. They were late and delayed as a result of the service delivery protests, which will continue to heighten. What's your take on that space and the options around it? Well, okay, so first of all, I think that the fact that some of the voting stations didn't open exactly on time is regrettable, but I think it has to do with a number of things, not purely service delivery things, but in some instances, caretakers of buildings were late in pitching up, and so on and so forth. The reality is, in most instances, far less than 10%, in fact, I would say even less than 1% of the stations didn't open at all. So, yes, we're saying to people, those are still open. But nonetheless, the electronic portals are also still available. People can still go online. People can still phone our call center. People can still go onto our WhatsApp chatbot. People can also text an SMS to find out about their registration. And that won't only be this weekend. That's going to be right through until the proclamation of the elections. So we really are saying to people, we are also, as a commission, still going out and interacting with stakeholders, including young people, including in the faith-based communities, including in various rural areas, to ensure not only in the course of this weekend, but to ensure going forward that we do provide other opportunities. And we're encouraging many actors in this country, civil society organizations, to help us do the same. They can also help people, to show them how the electronic portal works, even to help them with navigating things in order that they register.
Should you find that come 8 o'clock this evening, the numbers are not looking as good as they should look, what are the options?
The options are just for us all as a nation to really drive further. It's not something that I wish that we could say 100% of all eligible voters will be registered by the end of the day today. As much as I wish it, I don't think it's going to happen. We won't rest until we continue to allow people to vote. And we're calling on all South Africans, including the media, to really encourage people to do the same. We hope that by the time we get to proclamation date, we will really have a significant increase, if not very close to all of the eligible voters being registered, so that they can exercise their minds. Who do they want? Why do they want different political candidates, parties, independents, whatever? Why do they want those people? What have those people done in the past? That's what we were encouraging people. First step, register, then you start thinking about those things.
Some first-time voters are saying that, yes, would love to go out and register, but we've got exams, we're studying, we're busy at the moment. Was that factored in at all, or?
It is factored in, and really that is something that we're very aware of. There is going to be a second registration weekend, so the opportunity for people to come in person will be there. But even after the exams, again, many of the people who are at tertiary institutions writing exams, there will be the electronic mechanisms. But in addition to that, I think that what we are hoping to do is to get to a situation where we can look at opportunities for zero rating so people feel that they're able to access those portals through digital spaces a lot more easily.
And when it comes to the demographics, the breakdown, I mean, what have you found? Well, the weekend is yet to conclude, but what stands out as you break down the numbers according to the areas?
I think that the more detailed breakdown is a breakdown that we're only going to be able to get out of our system by the end of today, and we will be reporting on that tomorrow. Look, in general, I think we've been able to see in some areas, so you were mentioning, for example, El Dorado Park, there was quite a surge of people who came to the voting stations in that area. It gave us an opportunity to also look at how those voting stations will function. So I think when you talk about the kind of indicators, the demographics, exactly how it gets broken down, area by area, gender, also in terms of age groups and so on, we will know that really by the end of today and be able to give you some of that detailed, granular information tomorrow. But when it comes also to giving area managers, our different officials, the opportunity to really assess how voting stations are operating, I think that has also been really useful, in addition to giving an opportunity for the voter management device to be tested again in the field, to be worked with both by our officials but also by the voting public.
Yeah. Have you found that some were problematic?
We've found that they worked extremely well. The going into an offline mode has been pretty seamless. And so I think that there is an additional confidence. Obviously, the volumes of traffic have an impact sometimes on whether they do need to default into the offline, but also the uploading has been very, very rapid.
And lastly, before we let you go again, just reiterating, the process, how to get online, where to go, and just some of the details around ensuring that you get those numbers.
So the first thing is that if you're going online, you need to go to the election portal, which is elections.org.za, and there is a button there to press on in relation to registration. And it will ask you whether or not you are already registered and want to check your details, in which case all you need to do is enter your ID number. But if you want to register as a first-time voter or you want to change your details, you'll first have to log on and to get a user ID on the portal. Once you've done that, it gives you a password, you have your one-time PINs, and you're then able to change your details. If you're a first-time voter, you must have your ID card or book with you, and it will ask you then to make a photographic image of that card or whatever, in order that we can then screen that and put that into the system. And we have ways of sometimes improving that imagery with you, but otherwise, if there are real problems, if the image is really blurred, we can take up direct contact with you afterwards.
Okay. So do you have to have a version of your ID document to upload as you work through the process?
As a first-time voter, yes. If you're just changing your details or you're just testing your, checking that everything is in order, you don't need your ID with you, as you're at the computer. But as a first-time voter, absolutely you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me thank you for your time, IEC Commissioner there, Janet Love, coming in studio to give us a sense of how day 2 of the voter registration drive is going, and some of the finer details in terms of demographics to be revealed tomorrow. But, of course, encouraging all citizens to go out and ensure that they become part of this process, to ensure that the numbers are trickling in to register 1 million citizens by the end of the weekend.